Welcome to today's video whereby we'll be recapping the trade that I took today. Now, a few things to keep in mind before we go into the video. One, I didn't follow my plan. Right. Why? I felt like I haven't been trading for too long and I decided to gamble. So what I'm gonna show you, it's on me. It doesn't mean my strategy doesn't work. No, it's on me, and you'll see why and why exactly, because I'm gonna point it out what it is that I did which I shouldn't have done. Right, so it's all good. We learn from this. Stay disciplined, follow your plan. Thing is, it's boring to follow your plan, you see, because here's the thing. If I didn't take today's trade or yesterday's trade, which was Friday, I will say today instead. If I didn't take today's trade, that would have put me up, I believe, 400 USD, right? However, it was only 2 trades. I only got 2 trades this week if I didn't take the one for today. But because I took that trade today, now I'm down 150 USD for the week, meaning my P&L is negative for this week because I decided to take a trade which I shouldn't have took. But it's all good. We are fully aware of it now and we've noted it down. Again, we learn from all of these things. Listen, the only problem will be if I repeat the same mistake again, right? Then it means I'm not learning nor growing. But if I avoid it, then it means we are growing as a trader as well. Anyway, enough about that. So let's go into the chart and I'm gonna show you the trade that I took. So for today, everything was bearish, right? Except the 1 hour on the 1 hour time frame on S&P 500, I believe. Let's confirm that. Yes. So S&P 500 was not bearish on the 1 hour, but on the 4 hour time frame it was bearish. Now, what are we looking for? Because everything is bearish, we're looking for shorts or selling positions in this case, right? So give me one moment, so selling positions in this case or sells. So that was my daily bias, which I didn't follow. I don't know why. However, here we go. So this was Asia low, right? It got swept during pre-market, and then we had London's low down here, right? Which also got. Now, if we go to NQ or Nasdaq, the same happened, right? We swapped London's low down here and we swapped Asia low. Again, we had NFP today, so this down here, this is a data high, data low. Why am I saying high? Okay, so data low, right? Because this is when NFP was being released around here at 14:30, and then it came down to this point. So what are we looking for going into the day? We're looking for some form of liquidity sweep to the upside, then a change of order flow into from bullish to bearish, right? So, and then we wait for a 5-minute confirmation so that we can take shorts. So that was my bias, and that's what I was expecting. However, this is what happened instead. So let me play a few bars and you will see. Boom. So we didn't sweep anything to the upside, to be honest. We only swept this high, which is a low resistant draw of liquidity. But this right here is a liquidity sweep, right? So we can use that. However, keeping in mind that it was not that strong. And then we go into ES. we also swapped these highs up here, right, with this candlestick. Then we rotate it down. What are we waiting for now? Some form of retracement. So we have a fair value gap over here, right, on ES, and then on NQ we also have a fair value gap down here. Now let's see if we're gonna retrace into it or not. By the way, a Nasdaq is the more bearish index, right? Meaning we have bearish SMT. Okay, SMT, yes, that's a term I've never used before, but then it means Nasdaq is leading to the downward. It's leading down. Nasdaq is leading downward, yes. So let's play a few bars and see if we get any retracement. Boom. And then what do we have? Another fair value gap up here, right? But then now, because we pushed past this low, this fair value gap now is invalid, right? If we come up here and then we close above this high, that will be a break of structure. So what do we have on ES? Same thing, right? We have a fair value gap here, right, and a new lower high formed. So in this case we're gonna have to wait and see what the market does. So boom, boom, out, pause. Okay, so on NQ we invest this fair value gap up here, meaning we tend bullish, right? And I'll show you where I went wrong. So meaning now NQ is bullish, right? If ES turns bullish as well, we're gonna wait for a 1 minute confirmation so that we can take trades, right? So for ES we're gonna wait up until we break structure up here. Let me mark this. Until we break structure up there. So let me put one bar up there. Now ES is bullish, NQ is bullish. This is where this is why I went wrong actually. This is where I decided to not follow my plan. So on M1, right, the moment we turned bullish on ES, I decided to take longs. So I took longs up there, right? I took longs up here. My stop was down here, and then I was targeting these highs here, right? 1:2 ratio. However, what happened afterwards is what baffled me. You see, we have this fair value gap down here, so I was okay taking that trade up there because I was like, yeah, I know we're gonna reverse into the fair value gap, perhaps to retrace into it and then move out. Meaning I was not patient enough to wait for that to happen before I took the trade, right? So I was supposed to wait up until, let's say, we break structure down here, right? Break structure down, then break structure out. I mean up, or using inverse fair value gaps, right? Same goes for NQ. So instead, I decided to not be patient enough and took the trade. You see, so this is what happened. So I was like, yeah, this is fine because we still 23 minutes in, so we still have 2 minutes before we can invest that. I was like, okay, we also have this fair value gap up here. So if we invest this, then my trade is looking good, right? Which is what I was supposed to have waited for before I can take any trades. I mean, I was supposed to wait for this inverse fair value gap, this one, to happen, because if the inverse didn't happen, price can easily retrace into it and then push down. See, so I was overconfident a bit with my setup, which is fine. So I'm gonna play, this is 23, I'm gonna play 2 bars and show you what happened. So we have 1, 2 there. Don't put that one. Anyway, when this happened, now this means we invest the 5-minute fair value gap. So we are now bearish on ES, right? We are bearish, we invest this fair value gap, and I got stopped out over there, right? Losing about, I believe, 502 USD. Yeah. Let me wait. Okay, yes, it's connected. Let me see if I can pull my account salary. I mean history. I can't do it because I'm using the bar replay now. But yeah, I lost about 502 USD, which was fine with me because I knew that I didn't follow my plan to the T. So I didn't blame anyone or anything in this, it was on me. So we invest this, right? And then on Nasdaq again, we did the same thing because we had a fair value gap. We had a fair value gap up here, which got invest. Now what does this mean? It means both indexes now are both indexes now are bearish. So invest that, right? What were we supposed to wait for in this case? Some form of 5-minute retracement, right? Let me remove the magnet. So some form of 5-minute retracement, then targeting those lows, right? So I'm gonna show you. I believe that's what happened because after I lost this trade, I just went off the charts just to calm myself down and what is the word? Yeah, just to have some time alone. Anyway, so this happened. Boom, right? We are still bearish. Why? There was no fair value gap between these ones. Was there any fair value gap which was inversed on ES? Yes, there was. This one here. So it was this one up here, right? So ES turned bullish, but then Nasdaq is still bearish. So we invest again. So ES turned bullish, then turned bearish again. What does this mean? Now you see we have, okay, let me show you. So we turn bearish because we invest this one, right? And then we had another fair value gap up here. So too many fair value gaps today, which I wasn't pretty sure what was happening. Then Nasdaq on the other hand, how are we looking? Still looking good. We had a fair value gap which was inversed again. And then we have this fair value gap again. So what are we waiting for in this case? Some form of retracement, right? So we were gonna go into M1. Remember, Nasdaq is the more bearish index in this case. So on M1 we're gonna expect perhaps a break in here because we don't have any fair value gaps. Then let's see the side. Same goes, a breaking up there. So this. Okay, so let's see what happened. Do we break in or not? Okay, there we go. So we broke in. What will, let's see on Nasdaq before. On Nasdaq we broke in down here. This was our new high and we broke in. Now what are we waiting for? A breakdown, meaning once we break down here, we're gonna take shorts. This was the trade that I was supposed to have waited for, but then you know, Friday fever, I suppose. So this side I was supposed to wait for this breakdown here. So now I'm gonna play it slow and let's see. And boom, pause. So we broke down here. You see, we broke out. Meaning us. Oh, let's check on Nasdaq before we get too excited. So yeah, Nasdaq we broke down here, right? I mean, broke down there. Let me remove. This was around 1701 on this side. 1702. Okay, fine. So we were gonna take our shots here. Alright, I can play shots. And why is my camera keep on losing focus? Anyway, oh, again. Let's see. Okay, let me take it up a bit. Okay, I wonder how long that has been going on. Anyway. Okay, now okay. Bro, things are lagging this side. What's happening? Okay, so my stop was gonna be up here. But now you see, because Nasdaq, this is the mini futures, right? It says 1.5 USD. I was gonna use this one, so I was gonna instead use the micro one. And then my TP would have been around 676. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So I would have taken a trade this side with about okay, so one lot, perhaps two lots. Right, so let me add one more position. So two lots, you see, which my stop would have been 298, pretty comfortable with that. Then my take profit would have been down here on 676 there, which is an hourly low, right? And then from here I was gonna do what I do best, let the trade run to either stop loss or take profit, right? I don't interfere with the trade, so even if I get edged, I don't interfere with the trade. So I was gonna let it go, and this is what happened. Okay, should I speed it up, or are we about to hit TP soon? And then there we go, a trade which was supposed to have put me up about an extra 500 USD this week. Instead I lost 500 USD. So this goes on to prove that the strategy still works. The trader is the one who has to make it work, I suppose, right? And be disciplined enough to make it work. So again, this was on me. I was a bit impatient, but then when it comes to discipline, I'll give myself like a 7 out of 10 because I'm doing good with that one. But again, with patience, 7 out of 10. There's still room for improvement. I won't say I'm perfect with it, right? So there's still room for improvement. And yeah, this was the overall trades for today. The one I took versus the one I was supposed to take. So yeah, that's how it went. It's part of the business. We learn and we grow. So with that being said, again, I will see you on to the next video. So cheers.